The enemy claimed humans tire easily. She fought for 3 days without rest. Commander Zethkar of the Vorthak Empire studied the tactical display with growing frustration. The holographic projection showed the third moon of Kepler 442b, where his forces had been locked in combat with a single human defender for 72 standard hours. His mandibles clicked in irritation as he watched another squad of his elite warriors retreat from Outpost Delta 7. Impossible, he hissed, his forearms gesticulating wildly. The intelligence reports clearly stated that humans require 8 hours of unconsciousness every 24-hour cycle. They are weak, fragile creatures who tire easily. Captain Yextal, his tactical advisor, shifted nervously on his 6 legs. Sir, perhaps the reports were incomplete. Zethkar's compound eyes fixed on his subordinate with predatory intensity. The Vorthak had evolved from arthropod hunters on a high-gravity world. Their bodies were living weapons, chitinous armor, razor-sharp claws, and muscles that could generate forces capable of crushing steel. They required only 2 hours of rest per day and could fight continuously for weeks. Humans, according to their intelligence, were soft-skinned mammals who needed constant rest and sustenance. Yet one human had held an entire outpost against wave after wave of Vorthak assault troops. "Show me the recordings again," Zethkar commanded. The hologram shifted to display Sergeant Maya Chen of the Terran Defense Force. She was small by Vorthak standards, barely 1.7 meters tall and weighing perhaps 70 kilograms. Her equipment looked primitive compared to Vorthak battle gear. A simple polymer rifle, basic armor plating, and a handful of energy cells. Nothing that should have posed a threat to warriors bred for conquest. The first assault had begun at 0600 hours, 3 days ago. A full battalion of Vorthak shock troops had advanced on the outpost, expecting token resistance before the human either surrendered or was overwhelmed. Instead, they met a storm of precisely aimed energy bolts from elevated positions throughout the complex. Maya had turned the entire outpost into a maze of death. Every corridor became a kill zone, every room a fortress. She moved through the facility like a ghost, striking from unexpected angles before vanishing into maintenance shafts and service tunnels that seemed impossibly narrow for any sentient being to navigate. Replay the moment when warrior Clethvor cornered her in Section C, Zethkar ordered. The hologram zoomed in on a storage bay where one of his best soldiers had finally trapped the human. Clethvor stood 2.5 meters tall, armed with plasma cannons and protected by military-grade exoskeleton armor. He had over 50 confirmed kills in the Empire's expansion campaigns. Maya had been backed against a wall, her rifle's energy cell depleted. Any rational being would have surrendered. Instead, she had smiled. The human had pulled a small cylindrical object from her belt, a primitive chemical explosive, and thrown it not at Clethvor, but at the ceiling above him. As tons of debris crashed down, she had rolled beneath a maintenance panel and disappeared. Clethvor had survived, but barely, and required extraction by medical teams. "Sir," Yextal ventured, "perhaps we underestimated their tactical capabilities." Zethkar's claws scraped against the metal deck plating. "It's not tactics, you fool. Watch her movement patterns." The recordings showed Maya during hour 36 of the siege. She should have collapsed from exhaustion hours ago, yet she moved, with the same fluid precision as when the battle began. Her aim remained steady, her timing perfect. When Vorthak warriors burst through doors expecting to find her weakened by fatigue, they instead found carefully prepared ambushes. During hour 48, she had somehow managed to reach the outpost's armory while his forces were systematically searching for her. Maya had emerged with a heavy plasma launcher, a weapon that should have been too large for her slight frame to handle, and had single-handedly destroyed 2 Vorthak assault vehicles. Analysis indicates she hasn't rested for a single moment, Yextal reported, his voice carrying a note of disbelief. "Our thermal sensors show continuous movement throughout the facility. She's been active for 72 consecutive hours." Zethkar studied the current tactical display. His forces controlled 90% of the outpost, yet Maya continued to harass them from the remaining 10%. Every time they advanced, she found new ways to strike. Ventilation shafts became sniper nests. Supply closets became explosive traps. Even the facility's recycling systems had been weaponized against his warriors. "Sir, incoming transmission from the surface," Communications Officer Drexim announced. General Vorthak's image materialized in the hologram. The Supreme Commander of Vorthak military forces looked displeased. "Commander Zethkar, explain why a single human has held up our entire third-wave invasion for 3 days. General, the intelligence reports about human capabilities appear to have been inaccurate." "Inaccurate?" Vorthak's voice carried dangerous undertones. "You have over 2,000 elite warriors at your disposal. She is one exhausted mammal, as though..." If summoned by his words, proximity alarms began shrieking throughout the command center. On the tactical display, red warning lights flashed as another Vorthak patrol encountered Maya's defenses. This time, she had rigged the outpost's power grid to create an electrical trap, stunning an entire squad of warriors before disappearing once again. Hour 65. She was still fighting. "General," Zethkar said slowly, "I believe our understanding of human physiology may be fundamentally flawed. This creature has been in continuous combat for nearly 3 standard days without rest, food, or significant water intake. She's not just surviving, she's adapting, learning our tactics, and becoming more effective with each engagement." The hologram showed Maya moving through a corridor she had traversed dozens of times before. But now she moved differently. Having learned the exact timing of Vorthak patrol routes, she had internalized every sound, every shadow, every tactical advantage the facility offered. "Impossible," Vorthak snapped. "No species can maintain combat effectiveness for such extended periods." As if responding to his declaration, Maya's voice crackled over the facility's communication system. She had somehow accessed their frequencies. "Attention, Vorthak forces," she said, her voice hoarse but steady. "I've been monitoring your transmissions. You seem confused about human capabilities." There was a pause, filled only by the sound of her measured breathing. "Let me educate you. Humans evolved as persistence hunters. We may not be the fastest or strongest, but we don't stop. Ever. Your species requires rest. Mine requires only purpose." Another explosion echoed through the outpost as she triggered yet another improvised trap. "I've been awake for 72 hours and I'm just getting started," Maya continued. "My species once hunted creatures larger and faster than us by simply refusing to give up. We ran them down over days until they collapsed from exhaustion. Your warriors are strong, but they're not prepared for what humans call the long game." Zethkar stared at the tactical display, watching as his elite forces, bred for overwhelming shock assaults, found themselves systematically worn down by a single opponent who simply would not tire. "Sir," Yextal whispered, "what are your orders?" For the first time in his military career, Commander Zethkar of the Vorthak Empire considered the possibility that his species had encountered something they were unprepared to fight. A creature that could outlast them. Maya's voice echoed once, more through the facility. "Day 3 is ending, gentlemen. Shall we see what Day 4 brings?" In the depths of Outpost Delta 7, Sergeant Maya Chen checked her remaining supplies and prepared for another day of war.